Um, Hello, welcome, one and all. This is me, Shane Stoller, speaking to you directly, and introducing myself. I'm gonna start uploading, I guess, a few videos here and there on YouTube. See how it goes. Try it out. See if it's my thing. I'm a game developer, and I'm gonna talk about my journey and my background and introduce myself generally in this video. I spent the last 2 hours putting together this slide deck, gathering pictures and videos from my past and organizing my thoughts loosely. But I have not planned it to a T per se. So I'm just going to wing it and we'll see how it goes. Just try to be authentic and transparent. And I don't want this YouTube video. I'll probably say it again at the end, but I don't want this YouTube video, this channel in general, to be a huge time sink. So it's probably not going to be edited very much. But let's jump into it. I'm probably gonna jump scare myself with some of the things that I don't remember the order of the slides necessarily. So boom. All right, my background. A little bit about me, first of all, and my sort of experience with making games and game design and whatnot. I have a Bachelor of Arts in game design. Woohoo! A big piece of paper that nobody cares about. I've learned nobody cares that I have a Bachelor of Arts in game design. Nobody that I mean, I care. I think it's pretty rad. But nobody, I found nobody in the industry really cares. It means nothing. After graduating with my degree, have briefly worked at Visual Concepts through a connection. One of my roommates was working there on contract. They were able to land a bigger, quote unquote, bigger, better job elsewhere. Pays more on another contract, but they still had a few months left on theirs, and they reached out to some people they knew, me being one of them, and wanted to see if I could fill in the few months that were remaining. So I got to work at Visual Concepts there. That was my first, I guess, professional experience as a game designer. I honestly didn't feel like I did very much game design. I was primarily doing a lot of bug fixing and some animation setup, choosing animations for some of the story beats that were going on for different characters and stuff. So that was about as much creative freedom as I felt I had. Was, oh, this character feels happy, so I will choose a happy animation, which everybody's got to start somewhere, I suppose. But after that, I had a lot of nothing for a while until I landed a contract at NST, which was pretty mind-blowing. I was able to work there, rounded up to about 2 years through and through, which was amazing. NST stands for Nintendo Software Technology, for those who may not be aware. So, I mean, if you told me before I went to school that I was going to work for Nintendo, I would not have believed you. And I still am sort of flabbergasted that it is something I can claim and say. It's pretty gnarly. But then, that contract ended, comes to a close, as all things do, for a plethora of small reasons that add up. They were not able to bring me on as a full-time employee, which is nothing against them, nothing against me. I'm not sure if I was ready at the time, or like experienced enough for them. I mean, they hired me, but as a contractor, so maybe I'm putting myself down a bit too much. But I had to end up moving back home. I'll get to that later, I think. And but I had nothing, so why not do solo dev? Is sort of like the end of this journey. I'm coming to the conclusion, like, I have all of this game design experience and knowledge to pull from, and I want to make games. I can't get hired anywhere, so why not just do it myself? Like, what's holding me back? That's sort of the conclusion I've come to. My time at school. So let's talk about my time learning game design at school. I went to a place called DigiPen Institute of Technology. Very expensive school. I got to create my first ever video games there, though. I learned a lot about the game development process. I learned about coding and game engines and a lot of the basic stuff that goes into that. I learned a lot about game design, different fields, some of which were easier to grasp than others, some of which I still, I mean, there's, when you talk about game design, it's such a catch-all term. There are aspects of game design I have no interest in doing, such as, like, I shouldn't say no interest, but I have less interest in doing, such as like narrative, story beats and whatnot. I think narrative is cool, but I am a lot more interested in sort of, I guess, when you talk to the layman about games and game design and what that is, a lot of people think of sort of like the systems and what you as the player are capable of doing and what the game structure is, and all that stuff, called system design. And that's the stuff that I was way more interested in. And I think through my time at school, I learned that's the stuff that I have a deep intuition about. And I sort of excel at. So that's that. Here is my first ever team project. I got to create with two other people. Apologies for the low quality video, but this is sort of like just to show like where we started, I guess. Where I started. This wasn't my first game project. I couldn't find that one. I guess this is my second game project. I'm trying to think back, like officially. But yeah, so I mainly on this team focused on a lot of like the UI display and getting that working, as well as sort of the fanfare for scoring points and the end game. So I'm gonna probably play this, full screen it, and then lower the volume or mute it. But yeah, it was oh yeah, wow, look at this quality. This is gonna be a trip down memory lane for me in some ways, but yeah, this is where we started. I'm gonna skip forward. You got this one guy. He's trying to score points by collecting those little blue balls, and you have the enemy, a guy, the alien, trying to hunt them down and eat him. Yep, that's my voice. A bit cringy, but this was it. And then, you know, as you go on, you sort of unlock more abilities depending on how well you're doing in the game versus your opponent. You get all this wacky stuff that we all contributed to on the team. How do I exit full screen? Exit full screen, please. Well, now I'm not full screen here, but I'll probably end up cropping this anyway. So student gigs, so that was freshman year. We go into later years. They sort of pull back and go, okay, hold on. Game designers, digital games are a whole nother realm. You should really know how to make a game, and the fastest way to make games is just pen and paper, like real world, scrappy, do stuff. So here's just some snippets from like board game projects that we had to do. These are some of the later, more advanced ones, but just to give you an idea, if you're interested in game design, like, you got to start somewhere, and it's really important. I learned there to have the fundamentals down, and the fundamentals can be achieved with pen and paper. You don't have to learn coding necessarily. It's really, really quick and iterative. Like, it doesn't have to look nice, is my point. And there's a lot of takeaways and stuff you can learn from doing stuff, iterating this fast. Here's one of my more prominent, in my mind, more prominent board games that I did. We had to do, make rule books, and sometimes make the pieces yourself. You can see I spent a lot of time cutting out these things and folding them up in little papers and putting them on here, and you can see the end product. This is like after a game is complete. It looks pretty cool, I think. Out of all of my board games that I worked on, this is one that I think has some legs inside of it, if I can figure out how to tweak it to actually be like a product on a shelf somewhere. But I'm still working out the kinks. But that's that. Later, we get to game team projects. So this is, instead of just working with other designers, we sort of, junior and senior year, graduate into, and sophomore year, I think it was the latter half, into working with other disciplines. They say, okay, we think you should probably have enough of the design fundamentals down. You can probably, we're going to test you, make sure you can work with programmers and artists and sound designers and all that shebang to make a complete product. So we made this sort of like neon cyber land platformer shoot 'em up thing. Jump in here, play a little video. Wow. Little character intro. We had to do a whole trailer. Yeah, wow. It's kind of amazing to look back at some of these projects. I clicked, whoops. But yeah, that was that. I don't want to spend too much time. I don't want this to be like an hour-long video as well. So I might speed through some of these. This was the senior project. So this one we spent an entire year and a half, 2 years on, junior and senior year into. Look how pretty it looks. Wow, man, I'm still amazed by how pretty it looks. And then, the gameplay kind of is a bit rough. I feel like, looking back, but we were very ambitious, trying to make a Souls-like game. But holy cow, we were able to deliver, which for a student project is pretty nutso, actually, looking back on it. Like, the amount of work the whole team was able to get done. I'm super proud of it. We'll go in here. This is the final boss arena. This is, I did a lot of work on the final boss, sort of AI behavior tree on this project. It was a ton of fun. Metamorphose. I don't know. I don't want to dox my teammates and stuff. But also, at the same time, this game and the last game, if you guys are interested, I believe they are available on Steam for free since they're student projects. You can go on and check them out if you want, if you're so inclined. At the same time, we had to do solo projects while doing those team projects. We had to do a lot of projects. So this was a little color puzzle game that I made. You had to change yourself into different colors and figure out how to do stuff. Pretty neato. Very proud of that one. This was more like my attempt at trying to do an RTS style thing. You expand a kingdom out and whatnot, collect the resources. The high concept I think was very cool, but the execution I still had a long way to go on that one. But that is to say, my time at school, I did learn a lot. I did a lot of leveling up on knowing how games are made and stuff, which is amazing. But I do have a lot of mixed feelings. It was a very high pressure environment. I don't want to look back negatively on my time there because I did actually learn a lot. I gained a lot of experience out of that, but at the same time, having to do 3 or 4 different projects of various sizes, juggling that at the same time during a semester, and on top of other regular classes. I mean, a lot of classes were project classes, but then you have also more regular classes like economics and like psychology and stuff like that, more, I guess, traditional to fill out the credits. And balancing and juggling all that stuff, it gets pretty hectic, and it's very stressful. And I'm not sure that my degree, I hinted at it earlier, I'm not sure how I feel about my degree meaning anything. Nobody cares that I have a Bachelor of Arts in game design, really, as I stated. I mean, what I've discovered is people care more about your actual experience and the projects you've made, and what's even more important than that is how you're able to sort of the soft skills of how you're able to convey the work that you've done, and showcase the work that you've done, which are things that I'm very bad at, honestly. I feel like I'm not good at making a portfolio and a website and selling myself as a potential hire, I suppose. I don't want to spend time doing that. I want to spend time actually making games. So that's where my headspace is at. That's how I feel about the whole process. And my time at school was great. I learned a lot, but it also was very stressful and very expensive. And I'm not sure if it was worth the amount of money that it cost. But at the end, I'm also very happy I did that. I don't think if I went to school there, I don't think I would have landed a job at NST, which was an amazing highlight of my life and my career. So let's go on to professional work. Here's Visual Concepts. I got to work on WWE 2K 2022 as part of the story team. I talked about that a little bit previously already. It was only a few months, but for about 2 years, I got to work at NST under Nintendo on contract, and worked on the title F-Zero 99, which is available for Switch Online subscribers for free. So I mean, it's free if you have this online subscription. So I guess it's not free, but it is free. I don't know. Anyway, here's the release trailer for that, which was looking back on. I said it before. It's kind of flabbergasting. I'm flabbergasted that I was able to work on a project like this. Like, bam, we got 99 players on the field, all going. It's F-Zero, which is like a beloved franchise. Gonna turn off the announcer, and it's crazy. I mean, before I worked on this, I knew that he had his own franchise, but Captain Falcon from Smash Bros. That's all I knew about F-Zero, pretty much. I think that's what a lot of people do about F-Zero, and I'm really, really humbled that I was hired on to help work on this project and improve it in various ways. And it's crazy looking back. Holy cow! Like, you got all this customization. There's a lot of NDA stuff. I don't want to speak too much about the project in detail, but a very humbling opportunity, I will say. And then after that, my contract had to come to an end. As I hinted at before, for one reason or another, I wasn't able to be hired on full time, whether that's my lack of skill or their lack of hiring capability, or a combination of the two. But there's a long time after that where I was applying for jobs, and I just it would be sending out applications and hearing nothing back. And this was post-COVID. A lot of the industry headlines were just layoffs after layoffs. It was not, and still isn't enjoyable. It's still going on. You still hear a lot about different large studios laying off tons and tons of people. It's not great when the industry you love and the work you love doing, it just has people not being able to do the work that you want to do, and you don't have it. Yeah, it's not a great feeling. So I ended up having to move back home. I'm very grateful that I have supportive parents that are able and capable of housing me and supporting me, because, as I mentioned before, school was very expensive, and it's a tough time. How apartments are expensive, living is expensive, food is always a necessity, and like all these things add up. And when you don't have any prospects, it can be very daunting. So during this time, I went through, after moving back home, I was never officially diagnosed, but I mean, I feel like it's pretty safe to say that I was deeply depressed for a while. And it's that the emptiness inside is very difficult to describe to people who haven't experienced it themselves. But it's not a good time. So moving on from that, this is what I was trying to keep myself relevant. I didn't want to. I want games to be my career path. I'm not going to abandon it just because it stopped working for the time being. So I was stuck in, I think, what a lot of indie devs are kind of familiar with, or hopeful introductory devs are sort of introduced to, which is the new Project Hell, which is lots of ideas for new projects or prototypes, starting them up for maybe a couple months at most, and then getting disinterested or overwhelmed even sometimes with them. In my case, it was overwhelming in that I did not have the coding chops to structure a game correctly. I felt very confident I had the design sensibilities, but I literally didn't know how to construct the game from the ground up. I did have coding experience. I know a lot about gameplay scripting at that time. I know how to do stuff in the game, on the screen. But when it comes to sort of larger game structure and code architecture for how you're going to support your in a efficient way that you can add new features and it's not going to break everything, that's the sort of experience I was lacking. So I started a bunch of projects I had ideas for, open world, survival, whatever, brick breaker roguelike, all this stuff. And they quickly fell until I found this. I was searching for all during this new Project Hell time. I was searching for a tutorial series to help learn how to code stuff better. And what I landed on was this Pokemon game series by this guy, a Game Dev Experience. It's like, at the time I started it, I think it was around 80 to 100 episodes long. Now it's like 150 episodes in total length. And it's great. I mean, this guy, shout out to him, huge shout out, because he did what I think I really needed, and what I think a lot of people would benefit from is there's a lot of YouTube tutorials out there for Unity, Godot, whatever. And they explain maybe 5 to 10 minutes how to do this basic thing. It's like how to set up a main menu for your game, and you can select different stuff. How to get a character to move. How to shoot projectiles. But what you miss in those is what I spoke on earlier, is that larger code architecture. How do you get all of these menu systems and the game and all of this to mesh well together? And this guy, he set up his I think in one of his videos or in the description, I don't remember, early on he was like, hey, this is intended as an intermediate tutorial series. He was aiming to bridge the gap between learning those basics that a lot of other YouTubers already do. There's like tons and tons of them, and how to properly sort of architecture a game out. And he's using Pokemon as an example, like the original, like sort of fire red, leaf green structure of those games, because there's a lot of data and game data and coding data being passed around in those games. And man, did I learn a lot about how to structure sort of game states and loading and unloading scenes, getting save data done properly, character stats, how to do callbacks for the abilities that Pokemon have, like how that all works. It's great. I highly recommend. And then at the end of this, sort of, I came to a realization. I know this is something that they kept impressing on us while I was at school, was you got to scope down your projects. Like what you think is an achievable scope. Like yeah, you can obviously be like, okay, like this game idea is big, so I'm going to scope it down. And then they, whatever you think that scoped down version is, scope it down again. Like really start small. So I sort of harkened back to this and take a look at what I was doing, and I was like, man, I gotta scope down. Like I got to start. If I'm going to do this completely solo by myself, I got to start somewhere I can handle it. The Mona Lisa, you don't start making the Mona Lisa. You got to start somewhere from ground zero, right? So around this time, I had discovered the indie dev YouTube scene. I think this was something that I sort of knew existed, but never jumped into. So come late summer, autumn, I think it was around September-ish, the month of September-ish, that I really sort of dove into it and saturated myself with it more. This is a moment of inspiration. This was sort of the turning point out of my deep depression and sort of inability to land on my feet as a game dev. I feel like what I really appreciated was a lot of the transparency that a lot of indie devs have in the YouTube scene, and vlogging and whatnot. Not overselling what they have achieved and being very realistic about the steps they've taken to get to where they were. It makes it feel achievable a lot of the times, and I think that's what why some of them are so successful, and that's sort of what I want to capture and help inspire other people. Hopefully, if I can do so with a few videos here and there, I might have some ideas on in the future. But game dev, it's very tough, but it's very achievable if you approach it with the correct mindset in the right way. And I think that is something that watching these content creators really helped me get my mindset into the correct place. Making small games, and the fact that making small games can be enough. It can be sustainable if you approach it correctly. And a lot of people maybe are a bit more ambitious and they want to make those large dream games or whatever, but the reality is you got to start small sometimes. Not everybody is built to make Stardew Valley for 7 years or whatever and then release it and become a millionaire. So I took a look at all this, and I started to ask myself, like, what's preventing me from doing what I'm seeing all these other people do? Why can I not? I have all of this game dev experience. I feel very confident in a lot of my intuition about decisions on game dev and how to get a game to be good, quote unquote, engaging or fun, whatever. Not in a black box. Like I'm very understanding of playtesting being a very critical role in that, and putting your game in front of people and all that. So why not do it, scope down, do these small games that they're talking about, what's preventing me, and take it seriously as well. Like set some hard goals and deadlines and whatnot. Like if I'm going to make a game, I'm not just gonna I shouldn't just start twiddling around with it. If I want to take it as a serious profession, if I want to be a game designer, I should like for my career, I should set some deadlines. Be like, I'm gonna make a game, and I'm gonna make a game within 6 months, or I'm gonna prototype this idea and really push myself to see how it plays after a month. I'm gonna push myself for a month and see how far I can get, and then take and assess my position after a month and see if it's something that I should continue forward with or move on with something else. So I started solo dev October 6th, 2025. I opened up Unity, my engine of choice, because that's what I spent my time at school doing, so I was familiar with it. And I opened up a new project, and I decided, looking at a lot of the indie YouTubes that I was saturating myself with at the time, this genre incremental seems like a very achievable thing, especially if I want to learn as I go. I chose the theme of like cozy nature. At the time, one of my favorite games was that I'd played was Terra Nil. It's a game about, it's like this strategy resource management game about taking like a barren landscape and restoring it to a thriving natural environment, which I found very, very extremely satisfying personally, and also sort of healing in a way. This was while I was struggling so much and going through deep depression, so it sort of was very calming and had some healing effect on me and my poor mental state, I feel like. So I was like, I wanna see if I can do that. I can make a game that can help do that for somebody else. And I feel like mechanically and doing it incrementally is probably very achievable for someone like myself who has not ever built a game ground up completely solo. And I set these here again, set clear, achievable goals. This is something that's way easier said than done. This is something that all the indie dev YouTubers, I feel like many of them say, but until you actually start trying to do game dev yourself, you don't know what an achievable goal is. I sort of have all of this previous experience and failure at starting a lot of that game dev project hell that I spoke about earlier. So I sort of know. I have a built-in self-guiding star inside of me, inside my soul, that I know what is achievable and what is not. And that's just something I think that will come with time. And it's okay to learn as you go too. Like, there's a lot of structuring how to code the game architecture that I was learning as I went. And a lot of this knowledge for doing so was coming from that Pokemon game series I shouted out earlier. And there's other aspects as well. Like, I think the next slide is... Oh, no. Okay. So yeah, before I get ahead of myself, let's take a look here. These are different timestamps. So I started October 6th. This is now October 27th. Little previews on where I came from. This is me in Unity. I'm launching just to show, like, here's what I got. What is this? 3 weeks? This is 3 weeks of getting stuff done. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it, but we got a thing, we got that, and it's not pretty. A lot of it, some of it is pretty. I spent some time making some of it pretty, but man, like, piece by piece, I would sit down on a day or a week even sometimes and be like, here's the goal to get done for today, or here's the goal for the week. I want to have tiles that you can water, and then eventually they grow grass. And that's where I started. Then I was like, okay, I want these to generate resources. All right, let's spend a day or two or a couple days figuring out how to do a resource inventory system. spend a day on the UI. Now you have all this data that is tracking all these player things, and now you got to display it to the players so that they know what's going on. Spend all of this. I think this was maybe a week or so spending it on the upgrade tree. How do I want the upgrade tree to go, and how do I want that to look for the player, and all that. So that's sort of the gameplay flow. Here's more of behind the scenes. I'm going to press this new grid debug, and bam, bam, bam. I spent a whole week or two even on procedural generation, and getting rivers working. And this is my first sort of plant in my game, and it was just taken off of a Google search of the life cycle of I think a tulip or something, and there's this janky image, and I took it and I said, I'm gonna use this, and so here it is, and it grows, and it gets bigger, and I have these clouds, and all these different game ideas I'm trying, and these will water things, and man, looking back, I mean, I accomplished a lot, and I'm really proud of what I was able to achieve. Holy cow. It's like going down memory lane. It's sinking in how much I was able to do in 3 weeks. That's crazy. And oh my gosh, go back. Go here and here. Boom. All right, we're back. There's this. Was another week and a half, 2 weeks later. I started doing menus. Before I didn't have any menus. It was all just the game itself. And here you can see that, there's some bugs, like this thing isn't highlighted. That's fine. It's okay. It's all functional. The bugs, you can make it good later, make it work first, make it good later. This should be a whole nother video of my sort of design, how to start prototyping and go through the process and whatnot. But here, boom, now we have like sliding animations for some of these UI elements, and they tick up, and make it functional first, make it better later. But yeah, you can tell now I have a cursor as well. I had this idea when I started, like, of this dewdrop falling off of a leaf that is your cursor icon, and then that's how you're watering these, is you're trickling droplets one at a time. But I could talk about my game. That's probably a whole nother video. Honestly, nope, we don't want to do that one. Don't do that one. Here we go. 2025. I've never made a game completely solo. I have no idea how to get stuff on Steam. I have no idea what the pipeline for that is. I don't know how easy or hard or what steps are involved. So I did it. This is something that is like, I think this is incredibly stressful or incredibly important to stress, is there's no gatekeepers on Steam necessarily. Like, there's a few things you have to do to appease them, but all in all, anybody can really make a game and put it up on Steam. It's amazing. Like, I'm so grateful to live in a time where you can do this and be anybody and make a game and just put it up and not have to worry about being declined or whatever for making something that they don't like, or I made crappy capsule art for just a screenshot of my game, and I made this crappy logo. It's very programmer art. Like, I'm not an artiste, you can tell. But I spent time figuring out how to get my game up. I made a trailer for my game. I think I did decent at it. I don't think it's an amazing trailer, but this is sort of just utilizing what I had at the time. And I was able to put it up on Steam. And make it first, make it good later. I reached out to one of the things that I'm grateful for going to school. There's mixed feelings, is all the connections I made, the people I was able to my peers that I went to school with. So I know some artists. I reached out and was like, hey, like I'm making this small little game. Can I commission you to do capsule art? Through my research, I learned capsule art and on your store page and how you present your game with the capsule art is extremely important to looking professional and selling a game successfully. So I reached out and I went, if I'm going to spend any money on this game at all, it's going to be for the capsule art. And so I did. I reached out to one of my old game team members and said, hey, can I pay you to make some capsule art if it's affordable for me? And they went, yeah, here's my price range because you know me, and I could do it for this much. Is that okay? And I said, yeah, I think I can afford that. Took a look at my bank account and grimaced and said, yeah, I can afford that. I think I'm confident enough in my game that I will, at the very least, make back the money I spend on capsule art and the money I spend to the app fee that Steam makes you do to put a game up on their storefront. I think at the very minimum, I am wholly confident that I'm going to make that back. How much money is my game going to make? I have no idea, but I know it'll at least cover those expenses. I'm pretty confident saying. But I mean, all in all, there's a lot that I sort of breezed over and a lot more that I can talk about. But I mean, this has already been sort of half an hour, 40-minute video, I think, at this point. But that's my journey. That's where I started game dev, going to school. My journey through making games, various points in my life, and where I'm at now, making my first solo developed game. And I don't know if I have any other thoughts. I mean, I have the demo up and available. It's on Steam. It's kind of like amazing to think about. Like, holy cow, like I made a game and it's on Steam for people to download and play right now. It's just the demo, sure, but like something I made, it's crazy. It's mind-blowing. And I don't think that this is a feeling that will ever go away as I continue to make games of various kinds. This is what I love to do. This is what I will continue to love to do. And this is, I'll be damned, however I am able to do it, I will find a way to continue to do it. It's what I love, and it's what I want to do. So please wishlist my game. Play the demo if you're so inclined. It helps me out a ton. Wishlists are incredibly important to the success of a game through all the research I've done. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you wish. If you like what you're watching now, if you've watched through and you sort of have enjoyed me spouting my nonsense rambling for however long this has been, go for it. Subscribe. I plan on making more content. I don't know what kind of content. Let's go to this final thing here. I don't know what kind of content I want to make. I don't want to spend a ton of time. I've sort of allotted myself the month of February here to focus on promoting my game and establishing a YouTube channel and social media outreach, whatever form that ends up taking. If it's more marketing and advertising or more heart-to-heart YouTube content, I'm not sure. So that's all to say that I do plan on uploading at least a few more videos here and there, maybe describing my design philosophies on things, or really taking a look at certain aspects of my game and how they've evolved, and maybe even I don't know what else, but yeah, I also have a Discord set up. If I remember to set a link in the description of this, you can check that out for my game and future game content that I create. But yeah, my goal is to be transparent about game development and how it goes. It's not easy. It is tough, but it is achievable. And those are my thoughts on it currently. And I think that's all I wanted to share. Thanks for watching. And until next time, so long.